All right, good morning. We are starting a new book which is entitled Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it is written by Ronald Dahl. So, as we get started with this new book, make sure that you are watching the videos in its entirety and that you are doing the reading you're supposed to do independently before answering the rest of the questions. So, the goal of the video is for me to read the first part to you, go over those first two questions, and then you are responsible for answering the remainder questions based off of your new reading. Okay, so our goal today in focusing our reading is really looking in on our characters and paying close attention to the things that they say and do, as that will lead us to character traits about them. So, chapter one is called Here Comes Charlie. These two very old people are the mother and father of Mr. Bucket. Their names are Grandpa Joe and Grandma Josephine. And these two very old people are the father and mother of Mrs. Bucket. Their names are Grandpa George and Grandma Georgina. This is Mr. Bucket. This is Mrs. Bucket. Mr. and Mrs. Bucket have a small boy whose name is Charlie. This is Charlie. How do you know? And how do you do? And how do you do? And how do you do again? He is pleased to meet you. The whole of this family, the six grown-ups, count them, and little Charlie Bucket, live together in a small wooden house on the edge of a great town. The house wasn't really nearly large enough for so many people, and life was extremely uncomfortable for them all. There were only two rooms in the place altogether, and there was only one bed. The bed was given to the four old grandparents because they were so old and so tired. They were so tired that they never got out of it. So we're going to pause here and look at our first question. The first question says, why was the house extremely uncomfortable for them? So I'm going back and I'm looking into the text to see, well, what clues to tell me why it was uncomfortable? Well, right here on the page that we're on, it says that life was extremely uncomfortable for them. Well, why is it uncomfortable? So I read around that sentence. It starts off saying that the house wasn't nearly large enough for so many people. At the top, we read the whole family, the six grown-ups and little Charlie Bucket, lived together in a small wooden house. That is seven people in a two-room house with there being only one bed. So why is it not comfortable for everyone? A, the house was loud from the factory. So here we haven't talked about any factory or the loudness of the house. We're talking about the number of people that are actually in that house. B, the house smelled like cabbage. Again, something that we have not discussed. C, the house had a bug problem. We haven't talked about the smell, the sound. We haven't talked about bugs. What we have discussed so far is the number of people that are in that house. D, the house was not nearly large enough. So that's going to be our best answer choice because the house is not nearly large enough for all of those people. Question number two is about character traits. So, what character traits describes the grandpa in the story? Well, if I look at that last two sentences, it says that the bed was given to the four old grandparents because they were so old and tired. They were so tired that they never got out of it. it meaning the bed. So if I am describing the grandparents, I know that they are old and I know that they're tired, so they stay in the bed all day. So now let's look at our answer choices. Rude. Is being old and tired something that's rude? No, they aren't being mean and saying mean things and doing mean things. So that doesn't make them rude. It makes them old and tired. So I'm looking for an answer choice that goes along with them being old and tired. B, imaginative. So they aren't creating anything and using their imagination for anything. It just says that they are old and tired. So I'm looking for something that goes along with someone who will be old and tired and not willing to get up out of the bed. And you don't have to use your imagination to be that way. C, exhausted. Exhausted is another level of tiredness. So maybe that could be my best answer choice because it is showing that they are tired, exhausted. D, bossy. Bossy means they're telling one another or maybe even Charlie what to do. We haven't gotten that into the story so far. We just got here at the bottom that they are old and tired and not willing to get out the bed. So my best answer choice is that the grandparents are exhausted. Now, your responsibility is to pick up starting here at page 5, reading the rest until you get to chapter 2. At chapter 2, you stop. So that should be all that you can see right here. Reading up to page 7 and answering the questions.